I'm back at project house number 1, and today I'm going to be working on making a hole in the current block foundation, and this will give access to the basement to access that new crawl space that will be going over the addition. So the way we're getting these blocks out, my dad's helping me today. The arthritis doesn't like when I hit a hammer a lot or use vibrations and stuff. So he was nice helping me out. But what we're doing is chiseling out the seams of the concrete block and then just hitting it out with that little sledgehammer. This went very well, a lot quicker than I originally anticipated it going. The first one would be the hardest one to get out, and then after that it went smooth as you guys will see. But what we're doing is just hitting the chisel in those seams, and you break out that seam and then just start hitting it with the sledgehammer, and it's going to knock it out. And this house is completely gutted. It is stripped down to the studs. There's no drywall, there's no insulation, there's no finishes, there's no flooring. So there's not a lot of weight that this is holding up at the moment. It's just holding up the floor, and you see you got that top board going across the block. So if you were doing a big opening, you would want to build a little support wall if there's like a lot of load on it. But since only one of these beams in the middle is going to be out, the load will pretty much be concentrated on that right and left side. So I was not concerned with building a temporary wall. As I was knocking this out, there wasn't a ton of load on it, and I was building a header and framing this out later on that same day. This whole process took maybe an hour and a half total. But if this was like a really load bearing wall, because this wall isn't load bearing as much, the house is supported on the perpendicular walls. So this parallel wall, the floor system is what it's tied into, so it is carrying a load, but it's not carrying the roof load or the wall load or anything like that. And this hole is going to be 40 inches wide, 40 inches tall. We took out 5 blocks, so there's 3 of them out now, still 2 more to go. And then once they're all out, we'll start framing it in. And again, you see just that one 2x8 floor joist is the only thing on that top board. So that's really the only thing that's not supported at the moment. And there's really no weight on that, being that this house is stripped down to the studs at the moment, so it wasn't a concern at all. But as you can see, now that the first couple are out, these are coming out a lot quicker. They're just because they have more room to move and come out. So what my dad's doing is he'll take that chisel and along the inside, and then I'll go and score the outside to give it a place to fit in there. But now that we have all 5 of them out, cleaning it up and measuring, I got that bottom plate, and then I'm going to measure 2 king studs, and I'm going to put the king studs all the way up to that top plate. So there's the first king stud going in. And I'm cutting, bringing them back and forth. There's the second king stud going in, so that's going all the way from the top plate to the bottom plate. That one was a little long, so I took it back up, cut a little bit more off. Now getting all cleaned up, getting tapped in where we want it to go. We want to line it up flush with the inside rather than the outside, because these are 2x8s I'm using, but the block is closer to a full 8 inches. It has a little coating on the outside, where the 2x8 is about a half inch shy of what the block is. So I'm lining it up with the inside so it looks decent from the inside. And now I'm getting started building the header. I'm using 2x6s for this. I had some 2x6s hardwood laying around. So I measured that, cut, test fit, and I'm going to make this 4. So there's 4 2x6s together to do this, to make the header. And then I'm going to put 2 jack studs on each side. So there's the first jack stud going in. on those sides there. The one I need to trim down a little bit more. I wanted these to be really nice and tight to hold it in there really snug, and then just put a couple screws to get it the rest of the way. And this was overbuilding this. Yeah, I did not need 4 2x6s to make the header. It would have been fine with just 2, and really could have been fine with 2 and just 1 king stud and 1 jack stud on both sides, but I had the material here, so I figured better to overbuild than underbuild. So this can really hold a lot of weight. It's only spanning a 40-inch opening, and that's if you don't count the king studs. It's only a 37-inch opening. So this was 40-inch by 40-inch overall. And here's the final look. Right there's the king, and then the header's on top, going right to the top plate. And then we got 2 jacks on both sides. It turned out really nice. This all took about an hour and a half total. And then I just screwed a little plywood on the inside just to kind of block off the hole so no animals get in. But there you can see there's 4 2x6s making that header. And those are actually recycled off the front porch I took off. So I was able to use those here. It's going to be super strong. I'm not sure if the floor system in the addition will be tying into there. So that's the reason I wanted that to be super solid, just in case. But it's always better to overbuild than underbuild. And then there's just a pile of bricks. Thanks for watching.